With so much information coming our way on a daily basis, are we truly living in a war, in an age of information wars? I'm going to go deeper in on this subject on this week's Tuesday treesPhilosophies right about now. Welcome to this week's Tuesday treesPhilosophies. This is where I go deeper on things happening in culture, my thoughts, my values, my principles, whatever you might have. People always told me I go too deep. Well, I go deeper, baby. Anyways, let's get into it. So, the term InfoWars, this is something that I heard a few years ago, and that was actually the title to Alex Jones's show, who I never really followed too much, but, just kind of like at a arm's distance, just at a glance, whenever some controversies came up, and just was aware of the term InfoWars. And fast forward a few years now, and you really start to see how that term InfoWars is actually quite descriptive of the situation that we currently find ourselves. And that is because of so much information that we are constantly being exposed to on a daily basis, right? There's just continuously endless tweets, endless posts, endless Facebook, endless Google searches, endless podcasts, endless blogs dedicated to more information. There's more information now than ever before. So and then there's more analysis than ever before. And with the same information, two different people with different points of view might come to a different conclusion as to what the results mean. And so this led me to the conclusion. Okay, yeah, we truly are, living in an age of information wars. And I was just thinking about it, though. It's not really something new because of the fact that when you look at history, there's been countless examples of governments using and manipulating information and people's access to it in order to sway public opinions in one way or another. For example, World War II, propaganda was the common terminology used in order to get certain messaging across, right? This was heavily used by everyone, from the Germans and the Nazis and the Soviets and the Americans and the Allies. But afterwards, this took on a negative connotation, right? Propaganda. We kind of saw that, we heard that term and associated with manipulation, negative manipulation. So we turned that from propaganda to public relations, PR. You see that? Propaganda, PR, public relations, right? It's kind of like a funny sleight of hand little switcheroo that they did, but it really is, more or less the same thing. PR, public relations, it's what you as the company want the public to see, to hear about you. So you put out a statement, oh, we did X for this foundation, or we did Y, so that, as the public, you're manipulating, you're changing, or you're trying to sway the public opinion or the public perception of things. So this is not common, or this is not uncommon, I should say, where information has been thrown at people in order to change perceptions, change points of view and stuff. So, but I guess what's different now is the extent and level and volume of information that's coming our way. And, when we're so overburdened with new info coming at us on a daily basis, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. And I feel that way myself, 100%. Like sometimes it's so much stuff coming your way, it's hard to keep up. Somebody says this, but then the other person says that, and we live in such a quick news cycle that sometimes things don't even get fact checked, because by the time something gets fact checked, we're already on to the seventh story afterwards, and nobody really cares about the fact check of the story from 7 days ago or whatever. So to me, and then it comes to, okay, how do you deal with all this information that's being thrown our way? And 100%, one of the greatest tools that humanity has created that we have to utilize in order to sift through all this information that's thrown our way is the scientific methodology. The scientific method is one of the greatest tools humanity has come up with, and that is the ability to take something, take a hypothesis, take an idea, and test it rigorously, Try to see if it works. Try to see if it doesn't work. Set up experiments. Design different components. Manipulate components. Try to see the behavior, understand it, and then maybe come up with some sort of mathematical equation to represent it. The scientific method, right? And that involves taking in information, not knowing what the answer is, and letting the information guide you. Letting the information guide you. And testing it, though. Testing those informations, those facts that we hold to be true. The scientific method is one of the greatest tools that we have developed, and it has recently come under scrutiny, and it's a shame. It's a damn shame, because the scientific method has been utilized by everyone from all across the globe. Almost all countries have utilized the scientific method, have made some sort of contributions to science with the scientific method, have published their work, their research via the scientific method in scientific journals that are internationally available and internationally regarded. One of the greatest tools that we have, and has been recently come under scrutiny. Why? Because of the fact that if you know how to critically analyze information via scientific principles, then you are much less easily swayed. You can sift through the nonsense. You can understand what is true, what is not true, you can separate the fact from the fiction. You can separate the fact, more importantly, from the opinion, right? Because we're getting a lot of opinion mixed in with facts. And that is one of the dangerous things happening now. And again, the scientific methodology allows us to objectively verify, and even that term objective is a term some disagree with, but it's one of the greatest tools, again, that we have in order to objectively measure something. And me over here in Canada will come to the same result as somebody across the world in Australia, in China, whatever you might have. If you measure gravity from here to the other side of the planet, you know, if the gravity constant from here or versus the gravity constant in, Jamaica, it's going to be the same. Sure, well, let's calibrate for our elevation and those types of things, but you're able to reproduce those tests and get the same results. That is the point of objectivity. That is the point of the scientific method. Take an idea, take a hypothesis, put it through a rigorous test, and see if that test results in a verifiable and reproducible results. Again, reproducible. And to all my arts friends, this is something that I think we need to be teaching to not only science students, but we need to have arts students well-versed in the scientific method as well, because it's not only applicable in science, but rather in essentially going through ideas. And that is what art students are doing. They're going through ideas. They're writing their philosophical papers, trying to prove theses or what might have you. And again, the scientific method is one of the greatest ways in order to test ideas and push them forward based on the results that follow. Do the results follow predictions? Do they not follow predictions? What are some potential reasons? What are some things that could be done to address the gaps that were not fully conveyed or fully addressed in the first test? Scientific method, again, I come from a background of science, for those of you who don't know, and I think that it's been unfairly targeted recently as being something that it is not. The scientific method is one of the greatest inventions of humankind, and again, it is a human invention because it has been taken from its original point of creation and transcended it, similar to something like yoga. Yoga started out in the East, in India, but it is now a phenomenon of humanity. It belongs to humankind. It is everyone's to use. It is a tool for everyone to utilize. So, to wrap up, we are truly living in an age of information wars, and it's undeniable from the countless tweets, the countless newspaper articles, the different opinions that we're exposed to. the different memes we're exposed to. This is the age of information wars. Now, the best tool, in my opinion, that we have in order to deal with information and test it and see if it's correct is the scientific method. We need to expand the use of the scientific method for more people, for more access. It needs to be a requirement for not only science students, but for art students to take and learn, because the scientific methodology is applicable on a multi-dimensional level. It helps people think critically, deduct and induct reasoning. And I understand when they are being fed a bunch of nonsense versus something more reminiscent of the truth. So let me know your thoughts on this video. I think it's super important to talk about the scientific method. It's one of the greatest inventions. Let me repeat it for the 1000th time. It's one of the greatest inventions of all humankind. And I just want to hear your thoughts, please, guys. And if you feel this video, if you resonate with it, please do share it, because it's going to help get this message across to people, because we need more people that are able to handle information. We need more people that are able to critically analyze that information and come to rational conclusions. And, even using the scientific method, you're going to come to different conclusions as well. I mean, scientists aren't all 100% in accord with one another, but we are going to be able to better critically analyze the data that's in front of us, for sure. On a net basis, we're going to be moving towards that direction, and that's what we really want. As if we can bring the whole towards that greater level of understanding, that's ultimately what we want. So please subscribe to this video for more content like this. This is Tuesday treesPhilosophies, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.